Hello and welcome back to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. All support to the channel is always very much appreciated. We are taking a look at the Fantastic Four retro wave, more specifically the High Evolutionary. This is a figure that I've been looking forward to getting out of the box for quite some time, but I've slept on because the Fantastic Four was such a good wave. So let's get straight in and take a look. He comes with two alternate hands, so he can have two open hands or two closed hands, and that's it. Now the figure itself is all pinless. Let's just take the head off so you can have a look. The details on him are really cool, even down to the details here in his head. They're very cool, very spot on. Definitely looks how he did in the comic books. Now, interestingly enough, he first actually appeared in Thor back in the mid-60s. He did cross paths with the Fantastic Four quite a bit. Now you can see it's all pinless there. He did cross paths with the Fantastic Four quite a bit, and that's obviously why he's included in this wave. Now the character himself is quite interesting. He links into so many of the characters throughout Marvel's history, from obviously the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. He really does weave himself into so many different stories. Now the character, if you're not familiar with him, is basically a scientist, a human scientist, who does genetics, basically just kind of evolves animals into human hybrids, hence the reason why the tie into Rocket Racoon. Now there has been a few leaks that High Evolutionary, or the High Evolutionary, is going to appear in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and it's been leaked who's playing him, and I think that'd be a really interesting link into Rocket Racoon's backstory. But just going back to the actual character in the comics, so basically he was he experimented in his basement, I think it was, or in his dad's basement, evolving rats to start with, and then obviously worked his way up to various different animals. I think there was a tie-in with a chimpanzee at some point. I think the chimpanzee got killed and he evolved in. There was a cockroach as well that had like a really big brain at some point. But yeah, it was just nuts, absolutely nuts, some of the storylines. Spider-Man on the I think it was the One More Day storyline, actually talks to High Evolutionary to see if there's anything he can do to help save Aunt May. He's sort of come toe-to-toe with Galactus. There's been so many stories, but yeah, he ties into a lot of them. I think the most noticeable one is the Jessica Drew, the Spider-Woman. It was her dad, I think, that shot the chimpanzee that he liked. I don't know, I can't remember now, to be honest with you, but there was definitely a tie in there, and there was something to do with High Evolutionary that ended up giving Jessica Drew her powers as Spider-Woman. So he does tie in there as well. But yeah, like I said, he ties in with a lot of characters, so I'm surprised that they put him in a Fantastic Four specific wave, but either way I'm really pleased that we have him. As I said, he has been leaked as a potential character turning up in the next Guardians of the Galaxy film, so if I was a gambling man, I would say this particular figure will become very popular when that film comes out, if of course High Evolutionary is involved in that film. So if you're one that likes to have kind of comic book versions of the MCU characters, then I suggest picking this guy up now, because he will definitely be a hot ticket later on down the line. But for me, I really like him. He kind of does what I want him to do. He's one of those villains that I didn't really kind of need on my shelf, but I'm pleased that I've got. There's quite a few villains that, you know, like the High Evolutionary, like Psycho Man, that they've done in this wave, for example, that look really great on the shelves, and you can kind of put with like where they're doing a lot of the retro characters at the moment, a lot of the retro waves. It's nice to kind of have villains that have a long-standing history in the comic books as well, almost like a retro kind of collection of villains as well. So I'm really pleased that we've got him. Having him as a pinless figure is definitely a nice touch, and as I said, the details on him are really nice. The silver studs on his uniform, as I showed a minute ago, go all the way over the front and the back, which is always a pleasing thing. I really hate it when they kind of cut corners and you get a figure out of the box and you can see the details haven't been carried on over to the back, but they've not cut any corners with this guy. For those customizers out there, he's got some really cool arms and legs as well, and they are all pinless, so for anything like Winter Soldier or Cable or Forge or anything like that, you can definitely pull this guy apart and make some cool kind of robotic androidy looking figures. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I'm very pleased that we've got him. He's not a character that would have been on like my top 10 wish lists of villains to have, but knowing that he was part of the wave, I definitely wanted to pick him up. I did kind of sleep on opening him up a little bit because the Fantastic Four wave was so cool. I kind of got caught up in that, and him and Psycho Man kind of got left on the shelf for a little while. But I'm glad that I finally got around to opening him up, and he's definitely one worth picking up. So that's about all I can say about him in this video. If you're enjoying the 5-minute figure reviews, then please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. And do check out my channel for some other 5-minute figure reviews on other Marvel Legends. Until next time, I'll see you soon.